Okay, so I did another video about my Zoom H6, and I thought that I'd do a new video about its multi-tracking capability, which is something I haven't really used before, but I know it can do it, and so I want to test it out and see how easy it is. So I have this demo that I want to do for a song of mine that I just sort of reimagined, rewrote. So I have this recording plan. It's got a bunch of elements, and I'm going to test a couple things about the Zoom 6. So first off, here's what on paper it can do. It has a mode in the menu for overdub where you can like set the recording mode to overdub, in which case it'll let you listen back to anything you've already recorded. So you start by recording one thing, probably on one of the tracks, and then you put it in the overdub mode and you can listen back to that thing, and you can record arm another track and record, layer in one more thing, and then listen back to those two things and record a third thing, a fourth thing, a fifth thing. It will do, like, let's say that the first thing you record is your guitar, and the second thing you record is your voice, and you mess up. The first overdub is your voice, and you mess up the first take, and you need to do it again. It should record takes, like many DAWs will, where it's like, oh, if you mess up and you press stop and you record again, it's actually kept the wave of the first take, and it's moved on and made another wave of the second take, and I think it will do up to 99 total takes for a single project or song, as it were. So this song is a little tricky for me, so I'm sure I'm going to have a moment where that happens, but I also want to take advantage of the fact that it'll do that to squeeze in a couple of extra instruments, a couple extra overdubs that I don't necessarily need to listen to, but that I'd like to record. So what I mean by that is this. This is my actual recording plan. First, I'm going to record my guitar mono on track 2. Then I'm going to record my voice mono on track 1. Then I'm going to record a Doombek percussion track on track 3. Then I'm going to record my bass on track 4. Then I'm going to record my drum set with the stereo left-rights. And then, because I don't necessarily need to listen to the Doombek, I'm going to go into track 3 and I'm going to record a keyboard solo on track 3, sort of as a second take on the Doombek space. It sort of proved that I could do that, and that I could get away with, because I could record some auxiliary percussion. I don't necessarily need to listen to that piano solo, so I could also put some auxiliary percussion or a backup vocal or some other things. I could use that trick. So I want to see if I can get away with doing that, because ultimately, I think the power of this thing is to record it. You really want to take those waves and put them into a proper DAW, even something cheap or free like Reaper. I know Reaper's not free, but put it into any DAW and give it the proper treatment. There are some things I'm going to need to watch out for, and that I will purposely make myself do. So, as was pointed out to me by many people in the last video, the H6 actually does have phantom power, unlike what I thought at the onset. I didn't notice it in the menus the first time, but I am going to use the phantom power when recording the Doombek. I'm going to use a condenser mic for that, and I've already seen that there's going to be a trick involved, that the phantom power that for the overdub mode is activated in a different way than the phantom power for the unit itself, and just turning on the phantom power for the unit will not carry over to overdub mode. That's important. I'll say it again. If you're going to use phantom power in overdub mode, you have to activate the phantom power for the track that you're record arming with a little submenu that is there on the interface, the overdub interface. So I'll show you that when I'm doing that. So you can see where that is. That is also where you could arm the compression or limiter, or you can change the pan, you can change the mix. Like you can, let's say I need to hear a little more guitar when I'm doing this vocal, for instance. Maybe I'll crank that up a little bit or pan it. That's another thing that you can do in that little submenu. Anyway, let's go ahead and I'll give you a couple screenshots of some menus, show you the elements again as I'm going through them of the recording plan, and then give you a taste of the final product and some final thoughts on how it went. Okay, so now I'm going to try to do my first overdub, having just recorded track 2. I'm going to overdub a Doombeck, and I'm going to need to use a condenser mic that's going to require some phantom power for the overdub. Now, whereas I have turned on phantom power for the unit in general under the menus, so looking into the menu, and it's in here in the input output under phantom, and then you can do the on off and set the voltage, and I've actually already armed it for the all. One thing that's different when you're trying to do this into overdub, so first here we are in the menus, and we started, typically you start at the project list. I'm using the little dial wheel on the side to get to the project menu. You press the dial wheel to enter the menu. Here is where I'll select the overdub mode. So when I select this, first off, you'll see that track 2, which I just had record armed, is going to turn green. That's playback. Another thing you'll notice is that here on the top, there's some options. This is the tricky part, is I need to arm the phantom for track 4. So first thing I'm going to do is record arm track, or excuse me, track 3. I'm going to record arm track 3, and you can see that it is red and number 2 is green. It is going to record, and this is going to play back. But using the dial wheel, I have to cycle through some of these options which are track specific. So you can see it says track 1, this. So I have to go to the track 3 phantom, select it, and turn it on with the correct voltage, which is 48, is the standard phantom power.
Crazy, are you flirting? No one ever lights my fire. Am I crazy? Are you flirting? You, Jesus, no. Jesus, no. Are you flirting? When I seize it, or stay still, stay still.
Okay, so overall I was pretty impressed with how the H6 functioned as a as sort of a quick and dirty overdub multi-tracker or workstation for like doing demos for yourself. Everything that I wanted to do in the recording plan, I was ultimately able to, including the sort of icing on the cake trick of taking a track that I could take or leave in the operational mix and using the takes of it to layer in some other things for digesting later. So, specifically, again, I took that keyboard solo was the last thing I recorded, and I actually put it on the same track as the Doombeck, but as a subsequent take of track 3. That worked perfectly, and I could have kept going. I could have done a backup vocal there. I could have done something else if I wanted to. Could have had a lead guitar. Could have had anything really. So I think that's very useful. I mean, another thing I certainly could have done is if I'd wanted to do a more robust drum track, I could have done overhead plus kick, for instance. I could have decided I'll put a kick drum on track 3. I digress. So anyway, I thought that was great. I definitely would recommend that. That's a great feature of I'll probably make use of that some more from now on, in addition to what I primarily use it for, which is live recording my band. That's fantastic, and again, compact, pretty easy to use. Once you understand how to use it, it's not like intuitive to just wing it. You definitely gotta kind of look that up in the manual, but the manual's online, so easy enough, and just another reason to get yourself an H6. This thing continues to impress me, and I'm really glad that I went and got it, and I can imagine all kinds of ways in which I'll use this from here on out. All right, take it easy, and catch you later.